Hey everyone, today I want to share with you how to actually structure a high ticket sales conversation. I'm John Muller, I'm a former Buddhist monk, and I turned my passion and gifts into an online spiritual coaching business and digital marketing agency where I helped other people to grow and transform. And now I help conscious leaders like you to have their best life and to manifest the things that you want to, including business growth, including life growth, etc. Okay, and so today we're going to talk about how to hold high ticket sales conversations. And this video is part of a series that you may see other parts of it around here or in the comments or something. There's going to be links to the other videos, and it's part of a playlist. Now, this is originally was going to be a 5-part series, but has turned into 10 parts, and it might even be 11 parts. But essentially, if you want a very full course on how to grow your heart-centered healing or coaching business, just watch all these videos. They're very, very complete. Okay, now in this one, we're gonna go into the structure of how to host a call. What are the steps? And there's 4 key steps here. Okay, and I wanna show you what they are. So these 4 steps each have 2 parts. And so there's really 8 pieces. And these 8 pieces all have a C word. So we're going to be using 8 different C words to hold the space for the kind of the container for our call. And our call, as you can see, a high ticket one-to-one call is a container, right? It's a container that has boundaries in terms of time. Time and space are what create containers usually, right? And both people have to say yes and consent to the container, and this container has different segments, and you lead people through the different segments or parts of this call as your way of progressing people all the way from opening to close. Okay? And so here we go. The first step is connection. Okay, connection is the first of 8 steps. And that's where you build rapport with somebody. So how do you build rapport with somebody? Now, remember that every person has a logical part of their mind where language is the key to accessing that part. And they have an emotional part of their mind where energy and emotion, essentially energy, is the key to accessing that part. So you have energy and you have words. Energy and words are like your 2 paintbrushes. Right? That's how I think of it. I have 2 paintbrushes, one energy and one words. And I'm gonna paint with both paintbrushes on the blank canvas of everything that I do, including content, including videos, including one-to-one sales conversations, including transformational conversations. I'm gonna paint with both, and I'm gonna create a beautiful picture, and people might say, yes, I like this picture. I'd like to be part of it in some way, okay? And so when it comes to connection, we have to build an emotional and logical connection, okay? So the emotional connection is mostly going to come from your own energy. So your energy is what cues their emotion. People don't feel our emotions directly. They can only feel our energy, right? So you don't ever perceive another person's emotion directly. We can't. It is impossible for a regular human who is not a fully enlightened being to directly perceive another person's actual emotion. What we do is we perceive signs. We can perceive signs of their emotions, right? And so someone's facial expression may indicate one of their emotions, right? My wife looks at me sometimes, she's like, is everything okay? What's wrong? And I look at her and I ask her the same thing, is everything okay? I'm not ever, I have to ask because I can't perceive directly her emotion. All I can see is the signs and indications, right? Evidence of. And yes, we can definitely feel energy, but we also look for cues such as facial expression and tonality of voice. So these are some of the main indications that we use to perceive what state another person is in. We're using the energy that we feel. We're using facial expression and body language in general. And also we're using their tonality of voice. What is the sound of their voice? if you have kids or pets, you totally understand the power of your tone of voice. You can say your child's name, John, or you can say John, or you can say John. Like one means you're in trouble, and the other means, I love you, right? And so we know that the tone of voice is where the meaning of a word comes more from the tone of voice and the way we say it than it does from the actual definition of that word, right? You could say, that's a really good idea, right? Or you could say, that's a really good idea. Which one, what do they mean, right? They mean they mean totally different things. One means that's a good idea, one means that's a stupid idea, right? But the words are the same. Now, if a person were to be incongruent with the words and then the tone, that's a really good idea. That's incongruent, isn't it, right? So the words and the tone are communicating different things. Which one would you believe, right? You believe the tone of voice and you don't believe the words. That means that we actually derive more meaning from the tone than we do from the word. Just like I said with saying your child's name, or you say your dog's name, Fido versus Fido, or whatever, right? So the dog and the child and us, we all understand the real meaning is contained mostly in the tone of voice and less in the word. Now, body language actually has more impact than tone of voice, actually. So your facial expression, the energy that you're emitting, and your body language actually makes a bigger difference than tone of voice even, okay? You could think of, a person with creepy body language, right? A stranger in a back alley, and they've got this creepy expression on their face. Maybe it looks like they're on drugs and their energy just feels way off. Even if they say, hey, do you want some candy? In a convincing way, we pull back. Why? Because the body language is communicating more than the tone of voice or the words, okay? We derive about 50% of the meaning of something from the energy and the body language and the facial expression. About 50% comes from these physical qualities, okay? And I forget the math, it's more than a quarter, it's more like a third of it comes from the tone, the sound of the tone of voice. And then the smallest percentage is what the actual words mean, okay? So what does this mean? This means that if you want to make a connection with someone immediately upon a call, you need to have good body language. You need to have a good tone. You need to sound excited. You need to be like, I love you. I'm happy to be here. Let's talk about this today. Okay, so you have a few moments in the beginning of a call to make that emotional connection. Okay, and your emotions, the key really is to match somebody's energy and take them a little bit higher. That's actually highly therapeutic, right? Therapists do this, right? This is not just for sales. This is for transformation and influence in general. Transformation and influence happen in a therapy office. They happen during meditation classes and spiritual classes. They happen when you're getting certified in your modalities. They happen when you're a speaker on stage. They happen in a doctor's office, and they happen on a sales call, and it is extremely important. And on a sale is where you create direct energy exchange. It is directly, implicitly creating or eliciting energy exchange. And that's why sales is one of the most powerful professions in the entire world. Sales, might be the most powerful profession in the world. Possibly ownership of things might be better. But in terms of someone who's like on their way up, sales is the key to getting everything that you want because you are directly creating energy exchange. Okay? Now, in the beginning of the conversation, in order to actually connect to them, like just being in a good energetic state doesn't always facilitate a connection. We want to actually match their energy too, and then lead them to ours. A really good analogy for this, it came from when I lived at the temple. There was a person who visited the temple who was really like an expert in homeopathy. Homeopathy is like using natural remedies, but essentially like energy or frequency medicine. I believe it's like physical energy and frequency medicine that is infused within some sort of liquid that you take. And my friends explained this to me, how this worked. Now, don't quote me on this because this is just what was told to me. I'm not an expert in this, but it actually is a perfect analogy for influence, okay? The energy matches the energy of like the virus. Let's just say you have a virus. You can think of like a spiral. A spiral of energy is what this virus is, and the medicine matches this energy and then uses, like it goes with it, but then it pulls it out. Don't ask me exactly how it works. It has to do with microdosing and taking less and less and less of a dose over time. So you match it and then somehow it pulls it out. I don't really remember, but or it wasn't explained to me in such deep detail. But essentially think of it as a spiral, which matches the energy of the bad thing or the thing that's at rest. It matches that energy, and then it is able to go a little bit faster than it, essentially, to kind of get it up into its speed, and then it's able to exert influence over it, which is like to take it out. Another good analogy would be taking a giant pendulum. Okay, a giant pendulum, and putting this pendulum into a room of other pendulums. And as you know, there's a thing called entrainment, where if you take one pendulum and you put it into a room with lots of other ones, it will eventually match the same frequency, right? If it's a small one, it matches it, right? They match each other in terms of frequency, and the whole room becomes harmonious. That is a fact, that is a truth. Now imagine that you had a pendulum that was like bigger and better than all the other pendulums combined. Let's just say that one of the pendulums was like twice the size of the room itself. Okay, 3 times the size of the room itself. And then the room had all the other ones in it. Now, if this pendulum, the big one, wanted to exert influence over the small ones, it would try to come in line with them first, and then it would take them where it wants to go. Okay? Let's just say that this big pendulum had conscious control over itself and could choose its own sort of frequency to some degree. Okay, let's just say that. That's what humans are. We are giant pendulums, and we do have choice over where our energy is going. We have that conscious control. As an influencer, it is our job to, we disturb people too much if we don't do this. We become disruptive to them. If we just have our own frequency, they're all already operating, that they experience a disruption. They feel this is disturbing. And pendulums aren't going to be upset about that, but a person might be, right? People you're trying to lead might be upset. They might get repelled by your energy if you don't try to match theirs first. So first you match theirs, and then because you are more powerful, you have bigger, better energy than them, now you're going to slowly bring them into alignment with your energy, and you're going to lead them where you want to lead them. Okay? That's how you do it. Therapists do this, everybody does this. Okay? So we do this too. We need to tune in to the other person's energy and to their tone of voice. If they're talking all depressed, then we have to kind of talk like that too a little bit, and then we kind of lead. We have conscious control though. So we're not doing it because of some unconscious pattern like they are. We're doing it because we are attempting to be influential, and we are attempting to make a connection, which means we need that rapport. Rapport and connection are basically the same thing in this context, okay? So you're mostly using your energy, your body language, your facial expression, and your tone of voice to kind of A, match them and appear relatable, and then B, have a higher availability and sort of bring them a little bit higher. all transformation actually has these two fundamental steps. These are the two fundamental steps of all transformation in general. You could kind of say that the entire influence is this, is matching them, taking them higher. Matching them, taking them higher. Every step of the way, you're gonna match people and you're gonna take them a little bit higher. That is literally the move. That is the one move that will cause the biggest shift in your influence abilities. You can do this to yourself too, right? If you want to change your own pattern or your own habit, you're locked in a pattern, maybe you haven't gone to the gym in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 100 weeks. Maybe you haven't gone to the gym, right? But maybe you want to, right? Trying to exert force on yourself isn't really gonna work. First, you have to match your own energy. You have to accept where you're at. You have to accept, I'm here. And you connect to where you're truly at without being triggered by it or repulsed by it, and you love it. And then you're able to like get a little bit of movement in the right direction. Oh, but maybe I can do some push-ups today and some squats, or I can go for a long walk. And then you did that, and now you have to connect to your energy again. Oh, I did good. Okay. Oh, and I think today I could make it to a yoga class, a gentle yoga class. I did it, right? And then I accept where I'm at, and you match, and then you bring them to the next stage. So you do this to yourself, you do this to others. This is how all influence works. It's really just this one move, and connection is the superpower that allows you to be intuitive and truly connect in a way that isn't hurtful or disruptive. That's been one of the keys for me. That's been one of the reasons why I've been very successful at this, is because I have extraordinary amounts of intuition when it comes to people. And so I can create this rapport, this connection so quickly. I can create it so quickly that it causes massive trust and faith, and that allows energy to transfer. Okay, so I can be so influential in an interpersonal way, because mostly it's because of these. Now, there's a whole ethical component to this. I'm just now freestyling from my heart a little bit. The ethical component to influence and leadership is that you actually have to know what's best for a person more than they do. You have to have a bigger vision for them than they have for themselves. You have to actually have an ethical, moral reason for why you want to lead them somewhere. You know better than them in some way. I promise you that if you misuse your influence power, you will lose it. You will 100% lose all of your influence power to whatever degree you abuse that power. And so just trying to influence people doesn't get you good long-term results. It could possibly get you good short-term results, but because you hurt people, it will come back to backfire on you. It will be bad, and you will feel really bad, and it's like you hit bottom, right? In Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine, they talk about, building a house. Like taking the energy to like build a house takes a lot longer than it takes to knock the house down. And in the same way, building up our positive character of who we are as a person takes longer and is harder than knocking it all down. You can knock it all down in one day, but it might take you years to build it. Okay? This is the truth. This is the absolute truth. And that's where integrity comes in. The integrity, think about like structural integrity when you make a building. You can see these buildings back here. They have structural integrity. A big wind is going to come and they don't fall. And you could push on the wall. They don't fall. Why? Because there's structural integrity. They're put together in a particular way with strength, and they can hold together in and of themselves. And your character, who you are as a person, can become like this, right? You are like this too, if you just focus on building it. And integrity means that you make the right choices and not the wrong ones in the moment of choice, right? In that moment of choice, when the pressure's on, when the eyes are off, usually, it's like, what choices do you make? What are you doing, right? Right? And so do you go left or right? Do you say yes or no? Do you whatever, right? Are you good or bad? That is what integrity is. And when you build that integrity, that allows you, that is the foundation in which you can exercise influence. And if your influence is always less powerful than your own integrity, then you will continue to have more and more influence over time. I'm going to say that again. If your influence is less powerful than your integrity, you will do very well. That's the key point. Your integrity has to be bigger. Your integrity is bigger and the influence is less than the integrity, right? That allows you, if you have huge integrity, to have huge influence. That's how you actually build yourself into an influential person of character, into someone who can be a positive leader in the world. That is so important. I am speaking from my own experience. I've had periods of time where my moral and integrity, because like coming from the Buddhist monk background, it's just like so ingrained in me to have this type of integrity. Like it's been such a long process of building that. But plus I had the psychology background, so I was already building that integrity since 2004, really, right? And so, because there's ethics and codes and morals to being a therapist too. And so this has helped me in business, because when you always keep your word and then you make someone a promise, they actually believe you. If you never keep your word and you make someone a promise, they won't believe you. That's part of how karma works, okay? And you build this momentum of good deeds, and then you can easily bring other people along with it. And that way people will say yes to you, and you'll bring them to some better place because you actually are in the practice of going there. Okay, so hopefully that doesn't interrupt this video too much. That's a little sidestep, but that is extremely important just so you understand where I'm actually coming from here. Okay, and so we're on the step of connection and creating that rapport through matching someone's energy, taking them a little bit higher. And that's really the one move of transformational influence in general. Now, just to say that there is a logical component to connection. So the logical part is what you do with your words. Your words are your access point to their logical mind. And everybody does have a logical mind too. And certain people are even more logical than others, especially men, I think, in general, right? But everybody is logical too, right? And so you want to appeal to that side with your words. And so anything that matches, right? So your words can indicate that you are relatable, right? Maybe you ask them where they live, and then you know something about the area that they live in, or you have a cousin that lives there, or you want to go visit there someday, or whatever. For some reason, talking about location helps people to feel energetically understood and held. Over a long distance, talking about location in the beginning of a call makes you guys feel like you're together. It sort of collapses the distance, and now you feel more connected to someone just by knowing where they are. And there may be like an energetic grid or territory sort of component to this, where like by knowing where they are, you can kind of put your energy there and actually hold space for them better. I believe that is also happening. But either way, even if it's not, then just through the logical side, when a person feels that you are a relatable human, you can relate to them, you know a little bit about them, they know a little bit about you. Now, using your words, you help to make a person feel logically that you are like them, but just a little bit better. That's sort of the logical conclusion that a person comes to. Just like the energy, you match them where they're at, you take them one place better. In the same way with your words, you're just like them, but you're a little bit better, right? Not better intrinsically, just better in terms of where you've actually gone and where you're currently going, right? If you have actually gone to a place better than them, then that is pretty much logical proof that you can take them there too, right? So the logical side of this influence move is so important. It's actually, it's like the main thing, isn't it? This is incredible. This is literally incredible, right? This is so amazing. It's the one move. It's just the logical side. Oh, I'm just like you, but a little bit better. I can relate to you. I started where you started, and we're very much the same, but I've gone better, bigger places, and that is proof. That is logical proof that they can take you there too. Actually, if you actually think about it, that's proof. If somebody talks to me and they're just like me, if someone told me, hey, John, I used to be a Buddhist monk too. And I decided to start a business and start a relationship instead of continuing to be a monk. And I have a great relationship and I built a $1 billion business. And I did it in an ethical, moral way that was true to my heart, where I don't have to work that much. I'd be like, oh my God, this person's just like me, but they're better. They did what I want to do already. They already went where I want to go. They're already abiding in the solution that I've been looking for, but they started where I am. Because they started where I am and they are already where I want to be, that is complete proof and evidence to our logical mind that they can take us there too, especially if they have evidence that they've been able to lead other people there too. Boom, the logical side of our mind is like, done. I already know that this could work for me, right? And then that's that one move again, the logical side. Boom, boom. I'm just like you, but I've gone better places and I can lead you there too. Now your logical mind is like, yeah, that makes sense that they could lead me there too. Of course they could, right? If they want to, and especially if they have a proven way, a proven strategy that works for other people, that's kind of all our logical mind really needs to hear. Okay, so that is the first step, is connection. And the second step is clarity. So while we are doing the connection stuff, we're also going to be asking them questions, and we're going to be gathering information about them using our questions. Okay, clarity means you're helping maybe them to receive clarity in terms of understanding their problem. That's the primary clarity that the person needs that you're talking to, is clarity that better understands their own problem and the causes of their problem, the dilemma. It's like they get a better lens on their own situation where they can clearly see why they're in it and they can clearly see that a solution is possible. Okay, so the clarity that they need to come to is, oh, I see my problem better now. That's important. And also that I need help with it. I can't really do it on my own. That's another clarity that you can lead them to is, I see I have a problem. I see what the problem is. I see what the solution could look like. I see that it's possible for me, and I see that I can't do it on my own. Those are the main clarities that they can receive. But your clarities are going to be like their particular information of like, where are they at? Where do they want to go? Why are they at where they're at? What's the actual problem here? What types of solutions are they looking for? What have they already tried before? What's in their way? What's stopping them? And then do they want some help with this? Right? So you're going to be getting clarity based on these things. Okay, so it's essentially where are they at? Where do they want to go? What's in their way and stopping them? Do they want help? Those are the 4 key questions that you need to ask, but they're not just questions, they're groups of questions, they're category of question. You're going to be asking multiple questions within those questions. It's like, think of it like a box, like a blank box on like a workbook page. And there's a question above the workbook page, and then within the box, all the things that are good answers to that question will go. And you may have to have reflections and other questions and other things that help to fill it in. You're going to be filling in that box together, right? Does that make sense? So don't think of it as a script or some hard and fast questions that you need to ask. You're essentially trying to fill in that box of like, where are they actually at and what detail? So that means if you help people with relationships, it's like, where are you at in your relationship, right? What is actually happening? And you want to gather as much information as you can. And because you're an expert, the types of questions that you know to ask, the nuance that you're looking for is going to be pretty advanced and pretty particular to you. And so I can't tell you the exact questions, but the category is, where are you actually at in terms of the result that you want to get and in terms of the transformation that you're looking for as related to the expertise and knowledge that you personally have as the expert. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The next one is, where do you want to go? You want to establish the vision. What does success look like for them? How will they know they succeeded? At what point will they be like, I made it? What's their mountaintop? etc. And you want to kind of gather that, because if you can find a vision, a particular version of their vision that you feel qualified to help them with, that becomes the North Star of the conversation. That becomes the thing that you're always leading them to. It's like they're here and you're here. And there's a North Star that you're both aiming towards. You want to help them get there and they want to get there. Okay, so that's what I do when I establish the vision that somebody has, the where do you want to go part, is I'm not just looking for where do you want to go in general, or where do you want to go in relation to this goal. I'm looking for where do you want to go in relation to this goal that I actually feel confident and capable of helping them get to within a realistic period of time. That's this part of it that I'm looking for. Maybe their vision is like this, and maybe your vision is like this, but there's that intersection point. That intersection point is where you both agree, then that becomes a collaboration. You can refer to my previous video about that has a collaboration as one of the steps if you want a little bit extra info on collaboration. But here, that is the thing that you collaborate on, is the thing that they want, that you feel capable of helping them get to, that is part of your service, etc. Boom. Okay, and so your clarity is looking for that. That's the second question group. Where do they want to go? The third is like, is there anything in their way? And here is where you'd want to ask about what they've already tried. What things have they tried? How did it go? What are the actual obstacles in practice, right? In the practice of them, they've had this goal for some time now, right? And so why aren't they there yet? What is in their way? Oh, well, I have kids and so I can't find the time to work on it. Or every time I try to work on it, blank happens. Oh, I tried to run ads and I got no results. Oh, I took a conscious communication course with my partner and they got upset and I got upset and we ended up didn't work, right? Whatever, right? So you want to hear about all the things that they've already tried, because that will give you more clues as to what's in their way. What are the actual obstacles? They're not external necessarily. It's going to be a combo of internal and external obstacle. And you want to find what those are. You're looking for the things that are easy for you to help with, too. You're looking for the actual things in their way, and then you're going to be mentally crafting a path. That's what I do. I'm mentally creating a path for them. I need to be confident that I can help somebody, and this is part of my due diligence. I'm really inspecting. Is there a path for them? They tried this. Oh, but I can easily fix this one. Oh, their ads didn't work. Oh, that's my expertise. Boom, that one I know I can fix, right? Or oh, they tried to go to peer, mediation with their husband. Like, oh, I've got a person who's an expert at this. I'm 95% sure like this one we can solve, right? Whatever it is, right? You fill in the blank, but you're looking for the things that didn't work that either you can go around because you don't need it to work, or that you can easily solve as part of your work with them, so that you're crafting them a path. Some of these rocks are in the way and the river needs to flow, and some of the rocks you can go around and some you can remove, okay? And so that is what you're looking for in that part, okay? And you also want to help them to admit to themselves that they can't do it by themselves. You need them to see that. There should never be any convincing happening during a call. You should never try to convince somebody that they want or need your service. What you want to do is lead them to the understanding that they are not capable in the moment of doing it themselves, either energetically, either emotionally, either strategically, or whatever it is. Practically, they've tried, they've failed, they've given up in several areas, and they just don't know what path to take or how to overcome particular obstacles. So you are literally looking for that stuff, okay? Now, I'm making this seem kind of elaborate, like a very full consultation call, and you can go there if you want to, depending on how high ticket your sale is, right? The higher ticket, probably the better job you need to do at this part of it. But also, there are simple versions of it. Even people think, I just want to go faster, or I just don't know. I'm a beginner, I don't know, right? That's actually enough, right? So you're looking for them to come to the conclusion that I can't really do this on my own and I need some help. Okay, so that fourth question is, do you want help? And then that's essentially just opening. That's going to be opening up the next part of the call where you then go into communicating your message. Okay, so we've been going for a little while now. I don't want to take you too far on just this one video. It looks like I'm going to need another video to kind of summarize all these points, but we just covered the first 2 out of 8 steps. Okay, last thing I'm going to say about clarity. So clarity is not just something that you're getting to fill in some blanks and then to lead them to understandings. It also becomes your little pieces of information that you then use to customize your offer for them, but also customize your objection overcomes. So as I've already been talking about, you're going to be customizing the pathway. You're going to build them a custom pathway according to what you know how to do, your own confidence and ability level, right? So you're going to build them a custom pathway out of the information they give you, but also after you make the sale, after you try to make the sale, after you ask for the exchange, right? You make the offer, you ask for the exchange, you drop the price, and now you're waiting for them to kind of say yes. At that point of the call, all they can really say is yes or an objection, right? And so anything other than yes is technically an objection. And then at that point, and so instead of the way we overcome objections, the best way is to use the information that they've already given us. They've given us pieces of information. So we use our connection and our clarity. So we have the connection that we got in step 1, we get the clarity that we got in step 2. The connection is what holds them in the space as you attempt to overcome their objection, as you attempt to guide them, right? An objection means they've kind of gone off course from what is best for them. And so you use your connection to hold them in the space, and then you use your clarity to bring them back on course. And the clarity is going to be the information that they've given you, right? So, hey, I hear you, and it looks like you told me earlier that you did try that already, and it hasn't worked in over 6 months. And so, is that really wise to continue to wait until you've figured this out before you hire? Maybe the objection is, I'm not ready because I don't have this one thing yet. And you're like, well, it looks like you've been trying for 6 months and you haven't figured that out yet. I do that. That's part of this program is we help you. That's like one of the first steps is we actually solve this for you. So do you think that it's reasonable that you'll just magically figure it out, or would it be more likely that you'd figure it out if you were working with us? Oh, well, it'd be more likely, right? So you're trying to bring them back on course, but you're using the information they gave you as part of your way to logically appeal to them and to bring them back on track. Right? There's an energetic, bring them back on track, and then there's a logical, bring them back on track. And the logical is with the words, and the words are all the things that you filled in the blanks with that they've given you. Blah, 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 blah. You want to go here, right? Well, let's get you there, right? Type of thing. Okay, so that is the last thing about clarity and connection is that they're very, very key in customizing the pathway that you make and also in overcoming their objections. Objection is anything that happens after you've sort of given the price and asked for the sale. Anything at that point other than a yes is an objection, and you use clarity and connection in order to bring them back on track and to keep them going towards the target so that you can collaborate with them to get the actual result that they're looking for. Okay, so those are the first 2 steps of 8 steps, and we're going to continue in the next video with the other ones. I hope you subscribe. Please share this with people. If you want help building your business to partner with us in various ways, you can click below and find a link for that. Looking forward to working with you very much, and please do enjoy the rest of this series. Okay, talk to you soon.